The Singapore government has accepted 17 out of 26 recommendations made by the Advisory Council on the impact of New Media Society, or AIMS. Among them, the phased liberalisation of the Films Act, which means certain political films could be screened in Singapore for the first time. Valerie Tan with more.
Films about politicians will be allowed only if they are objective and do not present a distorted picture. According to the Information, Communications and the Arts Ministry, amendments to the Films Act, which will be unveiled in about 2 months, will allow certain types of political films. These include documentaries, recordings of actual events and biographies, which political parties can also use as election campaign materials on the internet. An independent advisory panel led by retired Senior District Judge Richard Magnus will decide on such films. But the ministry says it will retain its right to ban films like Zahari 17 Years, which it feels are against public interest, even though they may be readily available on the internet.
We know that it's not possible to block out everything in certain situations. But that doesn't mean we should give in, be carried along by the tide. We should still state our position.
But the ministry has agreed to relax the Films Act in phases.
When the government says in phases, then the question we have to ask is when? Next 5 years? Next 10 years? When? So the government has shown that it can act very quickly. So let's act quickly to liberalize political space for Singaporeans.
The government says it cannot set a time frame as to how long it will take before it will liberalize the Films Act. It says it will only do so after studying the situation and after feeling assured that there's responsible use of the medium for political discussion.
Online, the ministry says it will devote more resources to engage Singaporeans in cyberspace. But it says to ensure accountability, it will not remove the requirement for political websites to be registered, nor will it respond to internet criticisms outside government sites like Reach.
Is the government going to say, no, we're just going to ignore them because you didn't come into my room? The government has to find ways of addressing some of the issues that are raised in other parts of the internet. It could be in a form, of statement within Reach itself.
And there'll be no change to the rule prohibiting civil servants from voicing personal opinions on government policy. The ministry says allowing them to do so will compromise trust within the civil service.